Parable of the Talents, Faithful versus Wicked Servants. Matthew 25:14, 30, Luke 19:12-7. Jesus said, "For the kingdom of heaven is like a man traveling to a far country, who called his own servants and delivered his goods to them. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to each according to his own ability. And immediately he went on a journey. Then he who had received the 5 talents went and traded with them and made another 5 talents. And likewise, he who had received 2 gained 2 more also. But he who had received 1 went and dug in the ground and hid his Lord's money." Matthew 25:14-18. When the master returned, he rewarded the faithful servants who increased what they were given. But the lazy servant who did nothing was condemned. What the parable meant in Jesus' time. A talent was a large sum of money, and a mina was also a weight of currency. Jesus used this parable to teach that God gives every person abilities, resources, and responsibility. But not everyone uses them wisely. The faithful servants took what they were given and multiplied it, while the lazy servant buried it out of fear and was judged unworthy. Jesus was warning Israel that God expected them to bear fruit not just to hear the truth, but to act on it. Those who used what God gave them to serve Him would be rewarded, but those who did nothing would be cast out. How the parable relates to today's world. There are 2 kinds of people in this world: the faithful servants, those who obey God, grow spiritually, and use their gifts for His kingdom; the wicked and lazy servants, those who waste their lives, ignore God's commandments, and chase after the world. Many today are like the wicked servant. They waste their time on distractions, refuse to obey God's laws, and do nothing to prepare for eternity. The faithful versus the wicked too. Types of people today. 1. The faithful servants. Those who bear fruit. The faithful servants work for the kingdom. They keep God's commandments, Sabbath, feasts, purity laws, reject worldly holidays and traditions in favor of biblical truth, invest their time in scripture, prayer, and spiritual growth, use their talents to serve others and spread the gospel, live a righteous and self-disciplined life, avoiding sin and temptation. These people will be rewarded when Christ returns. Just as the Master said, "Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your Lord." 2. The wicked and lazy servants, those who waste their lives. The wicked servant wasted his opportunity. Many people today do the same by ignoring God and indulging in sin. They spend their time on TV, social media, and video games rather than growing spiritually. Ignore God's commandments, choosing Sunday church, Christmas, and Easter over God's feasts. Chase after money, fame, vanity, and materialism instead of storing up treasures in heaven. Indulge in pornography, sexual immorality, drugs, drunkenness, and addictions. Fear persecution or rejection, so they bury their faith and stay silent about the truth. These people will face judgment when Christ returns. The Master said, "You wicked and lazy servant, cast the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." The warning: judgment is coming. The faithful servants were rewarded, but the wicked servant was cast out. Many think they can live however they want, ignoring God's laws and chasing after pleasure. But this parable destroys that lie. When Christ returns, He will judge every person based on what they did with what they were given. Those who obeyed Him and lived righteously will enter His kingdom. But those who wasted their lives on sin and laziness will be cast out. Conclusion: Every person is either a faithful servant or a wicked one. Which one are you? Are you investing in your spiritual life, obeying God, and bearing fruit? Or are you wasting your time, ignoring His commandments, and living for the world? The time to act is now before it's too late. When the Master returns, will He say, "Well done" to you, or will you be cast into darkness?